Hey.
What's
What's
up?
good?
Team is back together again.
The gang's all here.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's been so long. It's been so long.
Since y'all been gone.
How you doing, Diva?
I'm good. I can't complain. I'm good.
That's what's
I'm
up.
good.
What's
You know
going
what?
on, B3?
You know what I'm gonna ask you? I gotta ask you, girl. How was your Thanksgiving? What you had?
Listen, so real talk, real quick. My Thanksgiving was really, really good. But I was nervous, right?
Okay.
This whole meat thing.
Oh,
That's a thing.
I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna eat? Because I like to eat. Like, I like to eat. So I did the collards, and I still did them with turkey.
Oh, okay.
I did smoked turkey, but I did vegetable stock instead of chicken stock.
Really? How'd that turn out?
It was good. They were really, really good.
I mean,
Okay.
people have been cooking them with just plain water for years, so vegetable stock is going to bring that depth of flavor.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
normally do chicken stock, but it
Me too.
mistakenly wasted on my hand like a couple of days prior, and I was like, so I was like, okay, I can't use that. So I did vegetable stock and my greens. Of course, macaroni and cheese was, you know, I'm the queen of the macaroni and cheese, okay?
Uh-oh.
I ain't trying to, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I got receipts if y'all need them, okay?
Hey,
What's your secret ingredient in your macaroni and cheese?
Feta cheese.
Ah, interesting. Since we're spilling secrets, I'm gonna tell you what my secret is and mine.
Okay.
You're not gonna believe this.
All right.
I probably will.
People know this. You know that white cheese you get at Moe's or Chipotle?
The queso cheese?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Right in there.
Really?
Right in there. Wow.
Okay.
Why? What you came up from that? How'd you? Why?
Yeah, where'd that come from?
Yeah, I mean, you putting all the cheeses in there and stuff like that. And back in the olden days, my aunt used to do with cream cheese, right? I was like, let me see how this tastes. And I threw it in there, and it was just it was just off the chain good. So I got a request from my mother to ask you where you get your hair dyed. She is about your skin tone, maybe a touch lighter, and then she has tried everything in the blonde spectrum, and she's not faithful. There she is, right there. She's not, so her problem is she's not faithful to her hairdressers.
Okay,
we're not gonna talk about that here. Because if you say who you get your hair, she going to them as soon as they have an appointment.
Okay. So my stylist has been my stylist for a little over 16 years. Her name is Lawana Carter, and she is downtown College Park, right next to the fire station.
Wow, that's close. That's close.
At A Step Above the Rest salon.
You got that, Mama? A step above the rest.
Salon in College Park.
And what's her name again?
Lawana.
Oh, okay. So she might be booked up, but there you go, Mom. You owe me one big time for that.
Yes. So that's what I've been doing. But other than that, my Thanksgiving was good. Of course, all the desserts. So you would think that I had like everything because my plate was I still had 2 plates as I normally do. So it was good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had some good desserts over here. My girls made my youngest made the world famous from both of my girls blondie brownies. Put some caramel swirls in that thing, and that was hitting. I made an amaretto pound cake.
Ooh, y'all doing it. Ooh.
And it was. Let me be honest. It was ugly because the top stuck to the thing.
Oh yeah.
No, I had it's not the spring form pan, but it's like the spring form, the bundt cake that doesn't have the ridges that you put the part in there. So it stuck. And when it came out, it was ugly. But when I tasted a piece, I was like, this ugly. But man, that thing got gone. They was like, this cake is on point. And then
did you spray with your baker's joy?
I did. I always, I did the same things I usually do.
Okay.
Well, actually, my wife sprayed.
She gonna tell you out. She right here looking.
I saw her spraying and I heard her spraying, but anyway, but
it was good.
It was good. It was really good. Pound cake. A good pound cake is my favorite cake.
Mine too.
And then I made the glaze with just amaretto and simple syrup with amaretto, and some sugar, and just soaked the whole cake. It was really good. And then my sister-in-law brought a pecan pie or pecan pie. I'm not sure.
No, thank you.
It is, and
I
had made some banana bread, but not for the holidays, because when the bananas start going bad, I just make some banana bread. And it wasn't supposed to be a part of it, but somebody, I suspect my mom,
you putting the whole family business out there.
I didn't do it. But my brother came over with a honey dip and did his he fried his turkey. I fried my turkey. It wasn't a contest. If it was, I won. But but we're not taking any points.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good. Nice, low key. Not as big as when we used to have 50 or 60 people over here. But then not as much work as it used to be. Man, when you got 50 or 60 people over there, woo! That's a thing. But we enjoyed it. So we're glad to have you back. And
yes, I'm glad to be back. I missed you guys.
I missed you guys. I missed you guys too.
Man. So do we have any Atlanta topics that we need to get off before we get started? Or?
We got a few.
Okay.
We got a few.
Here we go.
So, first of all, we need to shout out to Lee Elder.
Lee Elder is often overlooked. He was really the first full-time African-American golf pro, and he blazed a trail. And Tiger Woods has referred to him several times over the years. And Tiger did a press conference this week, and just letting people know he ain't never coming back to full Tiger. But that juxtaposition with Tiger and Tiger with his comeback press conference and Lee Elder passing, it was kind of a passing of the torch. We need another Tiger Woods. Where is he coming from?
Yeah, Steph Curry gave him some love too, shouted him out. He was a big
Let me rewind real quick. Our mayor name is Dre.
I know. Somebody put that on my Facebook, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that was the day." Huh?
Dre. Keisha was like, "Listen here, y'all don't know how to act. Y'all keep running out the house. You don't come home when you supposed to. So guess what? Now you got to go stay with your daddy." I'm out.
I mean, I wish him good luck. A lot of people who are Atlanta fans are not living in Atlanta, so they weren't even eligible to vote. Those of us who do live in actual Atlanta, it's a huge impact on the whole region, right? Because as Atlanta goes, the region will go, and during this unprecedented time, it's a lot of things that need to be addressed, not just from the crime. Crime kind of took over the campaign.
Yeah, that was everybody's
right. But there's a lot of other things that need to be figured out. With cities talking about breaking off opportunities as the city grows, homelessness and all that stuff. So he got a lot on his plate. His plate.
You know how I knew? I said the crime is getting ridiculous when I heard y'all put me on game about how bad Buckhead is. Like Buckhead is bad.
Listen, Buckhead. My little sister did a video about that yesterday. Buckhead, let me tell you, whoever is there, whoever lives there, baby, you are not that girl anymore. You are really, really, really looking, sounding a little bankheadish. Okay, that's what you're doing right now. You looking and sounding real bankhead. So I need you to gather yourself, ma'am, Miss Ma'am, and get it together because Buckhead is a hot mess.
Oh man!
Yeah, and they have started stepping up some of the patrols and all that stuff. But what does that mean? Since we have a dearth of police, that means there's less police elsewhere. And for me, I haven't been back into the new Linux rules because I'm gonna keep it 100. I was always strapped when I went in there every time, and so. But now you can't bring a gun in there, which is ironic because the crime wasn't happening inside Linux. It was happening.
You come outside.
Right.
And so, listen, whenever I walk out of Linux, I just tuck and I was ready to go. And I'm looking all around situational awareness because I'm not going to be the one to jack. And I definitely don't want to get into a confrontation. I'm not one of those that I was just waiting for somebody. But I've had a couple of situations where I was like, young fella,
this ain't what you want.
Do this.
This is not what you want, baby.
No, it ain't even that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So don't come over here with this because
because one thing for certain, two things for sure. I have zero problems putting you in front of a t-shirt. Anyway,
oh goodness.
Stacey Abrams is running for governor.
She announced her run for governor, and, which sparked a huge, long, like 5 tweet response from the current governor. So,
goodness, he talks we're all the time.
Yeah. So we'll see. We getting into that season,
and we are.
North Greenbrier Bond.
I remember you probably bet I'm going to Greenbrier.
Yeah,
probably.
Good grief. You don't find him with the tennis shoes, but you can go.
No, we used to go to that Greenbrier Mall every Sunday after church. We had to go to that. It was some birthday. It was
Piccadilly.
Piccadilly. Yep. Piccadilly.
You've been gone too long. That should have rolled off your.
That should have came right out. Yeah. Come on down. You know we're gonna get them good vegetables out on Sunday. Don't do that.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. So moving right along, this baseball lockout. What's up? Talk to me.
Jameel's gonna give you some facts about the lockout. I'm gonna tell you how I feel about it as a Braves fan. Let me get that out right now.
Okay.
I'm cool with it. Because that just means longer for y'all to got to tell my Braves that they the world champions. So, and that means longer for Acuna to heal. It's longer for Soraka to heal. I'm cool with it. We got our World Series. We good.
Right. And just going to sit back and relax, fellas. Y'all good.
I mean,
longer the championship.
Keeping it real, we are Atlanta show, and as an Atlanta fan, coming off the championship, because the whole thing about baseball is all the anticipation, what we can do to get better, what we need to do to get to the top of the mountain. We at the top of the mountain, so y'all take y'all time and work that out.
Paul Cox asked a really good question. He says, chances that Freeman's leaves, I'm starting to get nervous. I'm going to tell you what I think. I think they just got Freeman. They know for a fact that, because if he wanted to go to the Dodgers or the Yankees, he would have went before yesterday, I believe. I think, listen, this is me outside looking in. Jameel might have some more input. There might be some more input coming in later, but I feel like this man does not want to leave. And we've kind of dug our heels, and he's not willing to. I don't think we just don't want to pay him 6 years. That's what I think it is. We don't want to pay him.
Well, we're gonna have to because we had our chance. we had our chance, right? And I agree with George that the Dodgers are going after him hard.
They're going after him.
I think all those things are going to increase the price that we eventually have to pay. But we asked the man to play in a contract year with no insurance. If he had got injured this year, he would have been looking for one of those make good $17 million contracts. Liberty Media rolled the dice, and this is what it rolled. It came up snake eyes, but we got a championship. So I listen. because of the contracts of Acuna and Albies are atrocities. The contract that we had to pay Duval for his level of service, what level we've been paying Dansby for being one of the best shortstops, and we got Riley playing for free at third base. So I'm really not the one to ask about it, because it's like you're saving over $70 million when you look at the value of the contracts every year. So we're the number 2 revenue baseball team from sales and TV revenue, and we don't get privy to all that money they make in the battery, because that's not included in the calculations.
I like that. I tell you what, I like Chris's comment. Give a player a team option for the 6th year. Listen. I love him. He's 36. Listen, if you pay his,
he's not 36 now. He's not
36. I thought he was 36. He's not 36 now.
No.
He's 35.
Okay.
No. Okay.
Give us how old is?
He's 35.
I'm looking it up. Go ahead.
Okay.
I think he's 36.
I'm sure he's not 36.
Okay. Rail says pay that man, it don't matter. I'm just a big, y'all know me. Y'all know me.
He's 30. He's 32 years old.
32?
Yeah.
Wow.
Still, here's how I feel.
Hey, don't go back to your same argument.
No, hear me.
You said he was 36.
I know. I don't believe
you can't have the same argument for a 36-year-old and a 32-year-old.
Yeah, 36. 32. I can't give that man 6 years, because at the end of that contract, he's going to be 38.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter. In baseball, you're always going to have 1 or 2 contracts like that. And why not have those 1 or 2 contracts be with a guy?
Okay, to answer your question as to why not, is because the guys who are able to do that have the TV. We don't have a TV contract. Yeah, exactly.
We do. We have the second biggest TV contract.
Liberty just needs to open up the books a little more. Paul Cox says Liberty just needs to open up the books a little more. The Braves are on the cusp of something big and long term. If they don't cheap out, keep winning, keep packing through it.
We have the second best TV contract. It's $100 million next year, $120 million in 2023, $140 million in 2024.
Joshua Gerald, to your point, says
Brady is in his prime. 32 is young for baseball.
Yes, 32 is. 35 is.
38 is young for baseball.
We'll just agree to disagree. Got to open the checkbook. So I'm going to be the bad guy on this one.
When it comes to football, but so many baseball players are able to excel into their.
God bless you, even though you're a Nats fan. I can't stand Nats fans.
Okay.
Like, where were you 3 years ago? I've never heard of, that's a whole nother thing. He dirty. In the 6th year, Freeman will platoon. And now that's actually a good point. Now, see, Cento might have me on that one, because that's what's going to happen when this CBA agreement. They're going to have a DH in the National League, and I tell you what, he probably will end up DH in the end of that contract. So he'll be able to hit the cuff off the ball. So, and I'm sure, yeah. You guys might be right.
Okay, so moving on to basketball.
Okay.
What's up with my Hawks? Y'all seen my Hawks lately?
Yeah. It's funny.
They're on a good roll.
They're on a roll.
I think we can all admit we were a little worried, and I still do think they need to make a move.
I wasn't worried. I wasn't.
You wasn't worried a little bit when they was losing like 4 in a row, and it was getting kind of. It looked like Trey wasn't traded yet, and he was falling in. Give him a second with the new rule change and all that.
Because I see them differently. Like as an Atlanta fan, I know it's a very abusive relationship. But with them, I didn't have that trauma response that I have with the Falcons.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, they do look good now. To your point, they look real good. I mean, in all facets. And I tell you what,
they got a couple of guys out, but they won some key games.
Yeah.
Cam is not as hurt as Bogey. Bogey probably gonna be out into the new year.
I think so too.
Yeah, but Herter, it seems like Herder responds well to starting.
Yes.
Okay.
See, that's a mixed bag, though. So when you say that, you think that's a good thing. See, to me, I'm not so sure if that's a good thing when we're fully healthy, because I like Herder. I love him. He's one of my favorite players on the team. He's probably my third favorite player. The problem is there's two guys that can play his position better, and both were hurt. It's Bogey and Cam. I think Cam can actually, since they got that crucial West Coast out of the way, early, that did help. The truth is, Nate is a good coach. I think Jameet Professor kind of predicted, hey, man, when we get a full season of Nate, man, he's calmed Trey down. He's I think what's happening is Trey on the offensive side of the ball is not just looking for a shot, but man, I'm telling you, when he gets 8 or more assists, we're gonna win. If he gets 8 or more assists, we're gonna win. I would love that somebody look up his record for when he has 8 or more assists. When that ball's moving, and he's a threat, and that still kind of goes to the, I still have that. Y'all know me, I'm hard-headed. I have this trade that's in my head, and once it's in my head, it's hard to get out. I won't bring it up, but my trade is. I just feel like this will put us over the top, but everybody hates the idea except for Jimmy, so I'm gonna leave it alone. But it doesn't really matter. I think the Eastern Conference is definitely to be had. I'm looking at the Nets; they seem vulnerable. I'm actually looking at the Bucks, and they seem vulnerable. We look like we're pretty good.
Okay. Okay. So, speaking of the Falcons, what y'all feeling? What y'all thinking? We're in the hunt.
Well, I would say what I would say is I'm impressed with all the numbers. The Falcons should be 1-10, and they have somehow squeezed a 5 and 6 out of the numbers. Look terrible.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, I'm all for the longer they can stay in the hunt. I think that last NFC berth is going to be a not good record. Maybe a losing record. Because some of the teams that were supposed to be good, i.e. the Seahawks, they're not good. Some of the teams that were good last year, i.e. the Saints, they're not good. Some of the teams that were in contention early, i.e. the Eagles and the Panthers, have fallen down. So with that, I mean, the spot is just wide open because the 49ers got hot, but that's not even for the 6th spot. They're moving up. So, if they can make the playoffs, it would be a miracle. But every week that they can stay in, it's fine with me because the team doesn't change, right? If we went 1-16, we would still have these same players and contract attachments that we had. And but if we go 8-1, we still have the same contract. So it's going to be a lot of decisions to be made. Why not win as many games as possible for us fans? I mean, we're the ones who have to endure it, So they get paid the same whether they win or lose. We don't get paid the same if we're gambling, whether they win or lose. So
right, especially when you're just practicing on gambling. Yeah. Okay. So let me ask y'all, although I think I know, what y'all doing Saturday?
No, we doing Saturday.
I know what you're doing Saturday.
Oh man.
I think my people, I have, my best man in my wedding, one of my best friends from the military. I don't want to say my best friend because I'm one of those guys who have like 5 different best friends.
Because there's levels. Everybody on the same level.
But, I got a whole group of family members from his family that I've been exposed to that we group chat. And I wish I could get one of them on to talk Alabama football, but they're coming up. So we go eat. Some people are going to spend the night at my house. Some people will go tailgate. So I'm gonna be down.
I'm surprised to hear that. Do you know why? I'm surprised to hear that your Bama friends are coming up because I just heard, I shared this with Jameed earlier this week, that the price of the tickets are actually going down as of late. And the reason why is because a lot of the Bama fans are getting rid of their tickets.
Yeah, I think that's an underrated aspect when you talk about. Oh, that's a great question, Jamal. And
We're gonna get to that, Jamal.
I'm gonna get to that. Hold that question. The tickets, for those who don't know, are split down the middle. When you have those, when you have championship games, right? So everybody gets the allotment. They give the school the tickets. And typically when it's two big schools playing, so what Alabama is usually used to, because Tuscaloosa is so close, and a lot of people graduated from the University of Alabama, work and live here in Atlanta, is that they just overwhelmed the SEC championship. Like, it's Alabama against Florida, but it's way more Alabama people. But when two big teams play, like Georgia, LSU, or Georgia and Alabama, it's usually split. But this year, Alabama fans are selling their tickets in droves. So I think that it's going to be a lot of, instead of it being a 50-50, it might be a 70-30 Georgia split with a bunch of red shirts on the Alabama side. So that's going to be one of the factors. And Jamal, what are the keys to Georgia winning? Well, first of all, let's think Divas team, the Auburn Tiger War Eagles, or whatever they are.
Don't do that.
For giving a blueprint on a defensive game plan, right? Yes, Jameson Williams missed a lot of the game, but even when he was in there, they had a great game plan with less talent. So in other words, Derek Mason, who used to be the head coach at Vanderbilt, is now the defensive coordinator at Auburn, and they showed a pretty good game plan. Also, Mike Bobo, who was at Auburn, is a Georgia grad and probably will be joining the Georgia staff in the offseason as an analyst, or maybe after the championship game. I imagine that him and Kirby might have had a text or call or two. Chico. So, I mean, I think the simple thing, we talked about it earlier in the week, Jamal, is the games that Alabama has not covered the spread and been one-score games, other than the Texas A&M game, have included 40 rushes. So I think 40 rushes is important, because I think Alabama's run defense is going to stop us, especially in the first three quarters. So it's going to be important to keep running the ball to set up play action, but also Georgia to keep the time of possession and put that pressure on Alabama in their minds, right? Because one of the things that when you get ahead of teams, what they were planning to do, they're not able to do. And one of the things that Alabama hasn't done is been down significantly in any game, right? So they've never been down double digits. So if the score is 17-6 at halftime, that's a big thing for Alabama. And then it can allow you to run out the clock. And I know fans hate that. They want you to keep throwing the ball until you watch Matt Stafford do it and the Rams lose. But anyway, they want you, you got to do this. You got calm down. So I think running the ball is going to be a key. No turnovers. And then trying to contain the big plays, because Alabama is going to be trying to get big plays, right? And we're going to get some sacks on them, but we can't balance. We need to have more tackles for loss and sacks than they have plays of over 20 yards. So those are the keys in my line. What do you think, Ricardo?
Well, I want to give Bama some credit. They have killer talent still at wide receiver.
They do.
So I think that UGA secondary does have a big challenge ahead of them. Now, however, Bama's O-line, particularly that right-hand side, the running back situation, Bryce Young, they're in for a long day against this UGA. For those who haven't got a chance outside of wherever, if you haven't got a chance to watch much of UGA this season, they nasty. I mean, every UGA team I've ever seen where our defense was really good, it was usually a Roquan Smith defense, and you just got to figure out a way to stop him. or what was the guy? Double J. What was the guy? I remember David when I was a kid. David, he's on ESPN.
David Pollack.
Yeah, every really good Georgia team. It was
Jarvis Jones.
We were talking Jarvis about. Jones. Yes, you always had to stop that one guy.
Thomas Davis.
We're listen. UGA's defensive front is deep. It's well coached. It rotates a lot. It's probably going to have all of them playing on Sundays. I'm not even joking. I think everybody who plays that starts for the UGA's defense on the front seven will play on Sunday. That's how good they are. They get pressure at will.
And talk about the coaching, Ricardo, because Tennessee came out and got up on us 10-0. So we have been down by double digits.
Yep.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened?
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the defense first because I wanted you guys to have an understanding what's the difference, because you saw what Auburn did. Jameed's right. Auburn did set the blueprint, but I think that was what we was going to do anyway. I think what happened was they got beat up and battered, and it's just going to make it worse for them. Now, like I said, all the credit, because what I've been seeing that I don't like on the internet is I see a lot of people, Georgia fans, they feel really confident this year, and they should. I get it. But Bryce Young's probably the best quarterback in the country.
He's going to be the best quarterback.
And when we sack him and put him down, which we will, this kid's going to get back up. He's cool.
He definitely is. He's showing.
And the Williams kid from Ohio State, he's fast. He's going to be a problem. Michi's problem. They're really good at the wide receiver. The problem is their running back. I don't think Robinson's going to make it.
Robinson is out.
He's out. I don't know if it's official. I know that Nick was kind of heeing and hawing about it, but I think he's not going to be playing. And Joshua Gerald, he's right. It's all on Bryce. And it's just not good. You asked something about the coaching. The other little element that I think people are not really in touch with is, man, we're really well coached on both sides of the ball, particularly on defense. As great as I see you coming in twice. As great as Kirby is, you got to remember, Will Muschamp is a really good coach. Really good coach. Why do we have you coming in twice? There we go.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. Oh, okay. I see what you did. Yeah. Will Muschamp is coming in as a really good coach. Dan Lanning. We got analysts out the wazoo. I mean, they're hungry, and people forget that this team actually had more talent on the defensive side of the ball last year. People are like, what? We had this exact front seven. We had Tyreek Stevenson. We had Otis Reese. We had Jeremiah Johnson, who's like going to be a first rounder at Florida State. He's at Florida State now. We had all these same guys. But the difference with these guys is just they're in sync. Every beat writer, reporter, anybody who has anything, not even just Georgia people, will tell you that these kids love each other, and that matters. It matters. They just they get mad when someone scores a touchdown. They be like, man, Alabama's in trouble this one. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. What would you say to someone who says, I mean, Georgia's good, but at the same time, especially during this season, Georgia hasn't really played anyone.
Yeah, I love that.
To meet the caliber of what the expectation is.
Well, first of all, that narrative is only out because of what we've done with the people we've played against. I shared this with Jameed last night. I said, if Alabama had played Kentucky, I think they would have given them all they want. It's just that's probably the toughest defense we'll play all season. They're really good. If you go and look at the opponents that we played and Alabama played, and you hate to do that, but come on, there's a big difference between 31-29 against Florida. And I think
we averaged beating them by 19 more points than Alabama.
And two, the other little narrative that's been out there about our offense, you have to remember, we're not passing the ball much by the fourth quarter. We're already up by 20, 30 points. So we're kind of sitting on leads by the end of the third quarter. Usually we're up by 3 touchdowns, and Kirby's Kirby. And so we haven't even shown everything. And not to mention we got some of our wide receivers just now coming back. Our number one wide receiver, George Pickens, is just now back. And you don't think they'll have a package for him on Saturday just lined up for Bama? I guarantee you they will.
So I'll address that, Diva, and to say, one, that's an excuse, but two, nobody has played anybody. Nobody who's in the playoff hunt has played anybody as good as Alabama.
Okay.
Nobody has played anybody as good as Georgia. So after by that line of thinking, after Saturday, only Georgia and Alabama have played anybody. And so it's really like Ohio State was up there and then Michigan beat them. So now does that mean Michigan played anybody or they haven't played anybody? Whereas Ohio State, listen, you can only beat the teams that are in front of you. I think Alabama by far is going to be the best opponent that we are going to play and that we could play. And I want to address something Jamal said. I think it will come down to the secondary of both teams, which offensive coordinator makes adjustments. I haven't gotten to see the Georgia defense. Let me tell you something. If you like offensive football, you're going to be disappointed because the Georgia defense is suffocating. They don't give up big plays. They don't fall for the cheese. You know, basically, a lot of offenses are made. I'm gonna put some cheese in front of you. You jump on that, and then we go deep. They don't mind you catching a 6-yard pass because they're gonna come up and smack you and probably send you to the sideline. So,
and whatever you like to do, that's the one thing that you're not gonna be able to do. If you like to run, you're not gonna be able to run.
So I agree with the secondary part, and I think the offensive coordinators better have a game plan that doesn't include scoring a lot of points on both sides. But I thought that was a really good comment.
You answered. What do you thought of George's question real quick? He says if
Alabama that was the second one I wanted to go back to. Okay, George, I'm gonna answer it in two ways. If Alabama loses, should they fall out of the playoffs? No. Will they fall out of the playoffs? Yes. The whole thing has been engineered to make sure that Alabama gets knocked out of the playoffs with a loss. Alabama is the second best team in college football. I don't care what the polls say. If Alabama played Michigan, they would destroy them. If Alabama played Cincinnati, they would beat them. So the only team that that would be favored, and you can look at the Vegas lines over Alabama, is Georgia. So if that's the case, how could it be? So yeah, I don't think that's going to. I agree. So I think that's what's going to happen. Alabama loses, they're out, but they shouldn't be out. But the whole thing is being set up for them.
Now, only thing I'd say is there's a lot that can happen. Like if Michigan was to flip it up, if Oklahoma State was to lose, because Alabama can only drop us so far. If they lose to us, I'll say this. If Alabama loses to Georgia 31-28, then we might have to revisit the conversation. It's just, I understand how the money thinks.
Right.
That's only
but there's other money teams that
they are.
But
if the other money teams don't do their part, like for example, if Michigan loses against Iowa, which they could do, I said, well, they could lose. Same with Oklahoma State. It really depends on the score and what happens with the other championships. That matters a lot more.
It does. Alabama would have to root for a bunch of chaos. If Baylor wins, Iowa wins, and Cincinnati loses, yeah, Bama is in. But
the truth is, to that point is, and Jamie won't say it, but I'll say it. The truth is, Alabama, they're just on a different level. If you're following recruiting, you have to see this. They're just on a different level. I think that Michigan, Ohio State are very good teams. I just think that this is a funky year. And, I think Ohio State's been recruiting on a great level. I think Notre Dame's come up and had some pretty good classes. I think Texas A&M is recruiting really good right now. But right now, talent upon talent, hat upon hat, Alabama and Georgia are just on another level. It's just one of those years, man. So it's going to be hard. I'm telling you, if they lose by 3 points and Michigan mucks it up, I could totally see where the money decides to bring them back in.
Definitely over Oklahoma State, over a Baylor team. So Paul Cox says, do y'all think JT will come in and play at all? Stetson seems poised to lead this entire run, rightfully so. Here's what I think. I think that that Georgia wins by double digits, but not enough for it to be one of those blowout games where you put all the backups in and do all that kind of stuff. It's going to be, we still need to move the ball and control the ball. That said, if there's a chance for it to get out of control, there is a chance for it to get out of control in the way of, if you become a pass in every down team in Alabama, that you could have some defensive scores and all that stuff that might lead to a extreme blowout. I think that if Georgia gets down, they're more equipped to come back, not just because of, I'm a Georgia homer, but they've been down. They were down at Florida. They were down at so not down big, and you didn't see that panic, right? And that's why I think Bennett is a different quarterback, because we saw him in that second half against Alabama. He made one mistake. Alabama totally adjusted their defense at halftime. He made one mistake, and then Sark drew up some great plays and got deep on us. And then he panicked because now we were behind, and then now he had made a mistake. We've seen him make mistakes and us be behind, and we haven't seen him panic. So that's
a couple of interesting things about that. JT was supposed to be the starting quarterback, as we all know. But what happened was Kirby and the staff, and probably some of the players, to be honest with you, felt some kind of way when I guess JT had a lat condition. He had an issue. What was it, oblique? Something like that.
It was a lat.
Yeah. Anyway, long story short, they felt like he could have played through it, particularly by the time they played Kentucky. And when he said he wasn't able to play through it, Kirby kind of felt some kind of way about that. And then it kind of, was between Kirby's pride, the schedule, and Stetson's play. And really, probably the difference between Stetson this year and Stetson last year is he trusts, he's not making as many dumb throws. He's smarter. The difference between Stetson and JT is this: JT can make all the throws. He's got a better arm. He's actually better reading, pre-snap off defense. So he's able to read pre-snap coverage better. So Stetson usually would make some of those mistakes, and he had a couple this year against Missouri game. There's a couple before that. But Stetson's benefit is he's mobile. And when he's out in the pocket, he's looking for 3 or 4 yards. That matters. 3 or 4 yards, and they can't stop us on the run. Our guards, who was having our offensive line, who was having a little bit of trouble earlier in the year, their run game became better as the year progresses. So that kind of helped. My point is this: I wonder
if Truss or Erickson is starting at that right guard, because they look really
Great question. Also, speaking of starting an offensive lineman, I'm hearing as of right now, your boy Sawyer, 50-50 shot. He's probably more on the downside because, having him coming as a left tackle against probably the best defensive player in college football is
that's a good point. We have a couple of guys that are on that injury borderline, and we shouldn't push it because we don't have anything at stake except for pride in this game.
And also with that, Broderick Jones is really good.
He has played really
good tight end that can chip. I'm telling you, when you got a 6'8", 250-pound tight end that can come in there and put hand, he's going to be a problem. So it's like having another great offensive lineman. So it should be an interesting game. I can't wait.
Gary asked, why are you two only give UGA 28 points? I didn't mention 28.
Nobody mentioned 28 points.
Nobody mentioned 28 points.
Nobody mentioned.
That might be stuck in your head from that Super Bowl, but I think it doesn't bother me when fans are confident, because that's not going to have any impact on the game.
Exactly.
I think the players and the coaches are going to have impact on the game. I think both staffs have been looking forward to this game since. Listen, go back to look at our shows before the season. This is the matchup we said it was going to be. So if that was the case, do you think they haven't been putting in little pieces of the game plan, saving some plays for this game? I think on both sides that's going to be true. And then the fact that Georgia has not had a lot of really close games after the Clemson game has really allowed them to kind of saved more plays than Alabama have saved. Mm-hmm. And here's one thing for our nervous Nellies about the Georgia game before we, look at some the college lines and then look at some NFL lines. Not all of them, but what I will say is this: last game that JT Daniels started, we didn't score a touchdown on offense. We didn't look good on offense. We didn't look dangerous at all on offense. And one thing that we do, Bennett is going to miss some throws that were schemed open, but he's also going to create some plays that weren't schemed open. And do you think if Stetson Bennett, with the evidence that he has given you over this whole season, do you think we would have not scored a touchdown against Clemson? If that's the case, Clemson's defense is still better than Alabama's, right? And I think that will be that at the end of the season, after the college football championship, Clemson will still be the best defense.
Just hold on. That's what I actually don't agree. I think
I can understand why you don't want to agree. But
I think Alabama has. It's going to be a tough team to run against. Ideally, I think, they're actually statistically, they actually have a better run defense than we do statistically. But if you're watching us, you already know why that is.
I think they're still a formidable defense. I just don't think they don't have the back end and the full set of linebackers that Clemson has. So, but with that, that's not the only game on college football, right? Okay. And so let's look at some of the other championship games that are going on, because they are going to have an effect on either Alabama or Georgia, because the effect on Georgia is if they lose, they won't be the number one seed anymore. And so they may have to play somebody that they weren't anticipating playing. If the effect on Alabama is if everybody wins their games, then they may be out. One that doesn't have any effect on them, that's actually Friday, not Saturday, is Western Kentucky against the University of Texas San Antonio. And they were undefeated all through the season. They got blown out in their last game. Western Kentucky has been chugging along, and that line has gone down to San Antonio plus 1.5. I love Western Kentucky. Oregon against Utah. I called the upset with Utah winning, if you recall, and they pulled it off. But now they're favorites to pull it off again. That's hard to do, because it's going to be hard to tell the Utah team, the guys, it's not going to be as easy as it was last time, because they ran right over them. But that was at Utah, and this is on a neutral site. The other one is Baylor against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is on a high. They're favored by 5.5. I don't know if Baylor can beat them outright, but I think they can keep it closer than 5.5. Utah State versus San Diego State. San Diego State, they got a nice little thing going. I think they cover. They got a great pass defense against a pass team. And again, these don't matter, but for gambling purposes, they all win the same. We put all our money on Alabama against Georgia, and Appalachian State versus Louisiana. Louisiana is the underdog. I love Louisiana with 3 points. I love it. Houston versus Cincinnati.
Wait. Even now with the coaching change?
Yeah. Okay. He's staying on. He's staying on the coach.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He is on the coach.
Yeah. That's awesome. Houston versus Cincinnati. Cincinnati by 10.5. I was doubting Cincinnati, but the last 3 weeks they have turned it on. So Houston is a good team, but I wouldn't mess with this game. If anything, I would take Houston. Pittsburgh versus Wake Forest for the ACC championship. I don't know which way to go. And if I don't know which way to go, I don't touch the game. I expect Pittsburgh to win, but Pittsburgh defense has had some games where they have given up the tail. I'm talking about some 40 and 50-point games in regular time, not overtime. So you can't ever be like a team that has given up 50 points in regular play and say, oh, yeah, they go win. Wake Forest has an offense, and they score a lot of points. So I don't know about that. I like the over in there, over 71 points. Iowa and Michigan, Iowa's offense is just terrible. And I think Michigan is ripe for an upset, especially with 11 points. But Iowa's offense is just so terrible. Like, there's no pet. Like, they would need a touchdown, an interception return, a kickoff play that would give them 14 points, and Michigan still gonna beat them 24 to. So I don't like that game.
Isn't that game in Indianapolis in the Dome?
That's in Indianapolis. It's in Indianapolis. Looking at the pros, our Falcons are 11-point underdogs. If you didn't get a chance to bet Dallas tonight, I feel bad for you. That's some easy money. That it's in New Orleans, and you'll say, oh, they play good. But the Bills came down there and out-fanned them. And you know the Cowboys fans travel as well. And I don't know how New Orleans can put points on the board besides a turnover return. Yeah. Some other important games. We got the Tampa Bay game. The Chargers at Cincinnati. That's going to be a good game. And Cincinnati is favored by 1.5 because they whooped up on Pittsburgh, and San Diego didn't look good in the altitude. Don't give up on not San Diego, but the LA Chargers too quickly. What's some other games? Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Baltimore by 3. Baltimore has not been looking really good lately, but I like to buy 3 against Pittsburgh, who, listen, we have to be careful that we don't find ourselves in that same situation, holding on to a quarterback that's past his prime.
Whole other show. Because you know most people can't stand the man. So
Pittsburgh is done. LA -12. That's a lot of points, but it's at home, and we saw Jacksonville last week. They're not good, and LA needs to pick on somebody to beat. San Fran at Seattle. Seattle -1.5. Seattle can't beat any team in the NFL right now. They are in trouble, internal dissension, and Russell is trying to play with that broken finger. He rushed himself back. Bad move. The New England Buffalo.
Play Russell. Jesus wanted you to sit out another week.
Yeah, until you got healed. New England and Buffalo. That should be a good game. So those are the games this week. We got New Orleans playing, so of course we're rooting for the Cowboys in a rare turn of events. So
almost puked when I heard that just now.
Yeah. But we're still in the hunt, like Diva said, so we got to take advantage of it.
Take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Make it do what it do.
Make it do what it do.
Yes.
Well, I guess I should ask you, and I'll ask you this too. And we that fans, we're asking you guys as well. What do you guys think will be the score to the Georgia-Alabama game this weekend? What do we got? I'll say mine's last.
Jameek, what you got?
31-17 Georgia.
I promise you, this is weird. I should do cash 3 or whatever it is. I was saying 31-17, but in my head, I'm like, I don't see 17 points for Alabama. I really don't, because
I think if they're up 31-7 or 31-10 in the fourth quarter, it's going to be hard to keep them from getting that garbage time touchdown.
Oh yeah, I don't see us doing like that.
They'll be passing all the time, and then different from all the other Georgia games, it won't be the second and third string guys in there trying to stop them.
Exactly, but see, here's the thing, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope we blow them out, but I don't think this 31-17 will be no blowout 31-17. It's going to be a hard fought 24-10. Maybe they get it within the touchdown. We come back and score a touchdown to clinch it. And because half of one of our best aspects of our defense is we've had the luck and privilege of being able to play ahead. I think that's a different type of ball game. And Bryce Young, I'm telling you, this is the best quarterback in the country right now. He's super talented.
Listen, I love Bryce Young.
Yep.
He is by far the most talented guy, not only that we have played, that we could possibly play. When you look at the teams that could make it to the college football playoffs, the guy for Cincinnati who played well against us, but he has 17 touchdowns on the whole year. 17. He only has a couple of interceptions, but Bryce Young had 17 touchdowns at game 5 or 6. So it's just and the way he showed me his mettle against Auburn, the Tigers are worried.
That's how I looked at it.
Because they had no business even being in that game.
That's how I looked at it. No running backs to look at. The wide receivers out. I thought they were done. I was like, I cannot believe these jokers let these guys back in this game. So,
all right, fellas, we are at the top of the hour. You guys can talk forever. We all can talk forever about sports, but we're at the top of the hour. So we're going to have to reconvene on
Monday.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Get them straight. Well,
we thank you guys so much for your time, for Boss Diva and Jameed the Professor once again. Till next time, we'll see you on Monday, like the Queen says. Peace up.
Peace up.
Down.
Stay sound down.